Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Sorry that I am late. I actually had a headache and fell asleep. But shout out to y'all for being patient and waiting. Bear with me. Ooh, sorry. Bear with me a second. That's not going to work. All right. So, what we're going to get into today is very important. And I'm just going to jump right in. First and foremost, shout out to everyone that is here. First and foremost, shout out to everyone who hope everyone had a great weekend. It's been a crazy up and down week, with the police verdict, Breonna Taylor, and this whole Trump thing, and you know, a lot of humanity has been going through a lot this very weekend, this week in general. There's a lot of things going on. So what I want to discuss today, and I'm gonna try not to do a 2 hour video. I'm gonna try to keep this to an hour or less. And let me see who's in the chat, who's in the building, and let's see. Peace to Cofield, peace to Emma, peace to Light and Love, peace to Ellen McQueen. I know you always see Ellen McQueen's like, yo, you better be on time. Peace to Ernestine. What's going on? Peace to all y'all. All right, that's in the building. If you are here, please hit the like button. Um, yeah, we're gonna talk about the future, this 2020 alignment. All right, peace to Nick Yoda. Also, I want to shout out to everyone who actually donated last time. Uh, Give me 1 second while I set up. Let me set up the frequency generator. Get some vibes in here. Y'all know how we do it. If you've been following me, shout out to everyone who is new to the channel, new to the chat. All right. Peace to Water King. Peace to Dawn Daniels. All right. We riding this theta wave. Low theta wave though. I ain't gonna kill y'all with the volume. So this is pretty much background music, which you're hearing, but you're not really hearing. So that's how that works. Indigo Child, peace. Okay. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Like I said, I'm gonna try to bang this out pretty quickly. Um, but yeah, has anybody, and you could put this in the chat, has anybody been having trouble sleeping? I even saw LeBron James post about not being able to sleep, trouble sleeping, random headaches, jitters, nervousness, things like that. Or am I the only one? But this energy is very, very intense, very, very intense, very, very transformational, man. Pluto, just to talk astrologically, Pluto is actually going direct. You know what? Forget this. I'm not even going. It's gonna take too long to charge. We're just gonna rock. We're just gonna rock like this. It'll charge up when it needs to. So I want to talk about this triple alignment. Um, I don't know if I should start with this article or if I should start with a Peace to Brooke. I was Indigo Child. I've been having trouble sleeping. Ernestine, yes, headaches. Yeah. It's that type of time, man. The energy on the planet is raising. The frequency on the planet is raising, and the vibrational frequency on the planet is raising. But you have to keep in mind also that there's 5G technology that is the wave frequency, the millimeter waves, which is what 5G technology works on, is permeating our very bodies at this very moment. All of us around the world, because 5G is literally all around the world. So it's causing our bodies to not only upgrade, but if you are not healthy or if your immune system has not been kept up, if you're not working, on your diet, if you're not eating certain things, especially taking in greens and stuff like that, this could be a very tough time, for you. Because even me, who, I pretty much think I take care of myself well, try to eat right to the best of my ability, try to take care of myself to the best of my ability. Even myself, I'm just getting these random headaches and random, not being able to sleep and stuff like that. Even during my dreams, like just hearing random chatter and things like that. So, or while I'm sleeping, I remember last video people were saying that they weren't they were having dreams and not remembering them, and lo and behold, right after they said that, that's what started happening to me. So it's time. Yes, yes, Kia. Yep, they are. They're IKEA. Yes, they are. They do disappear quickly. Yeah, they're in and out. So my life coach, shout out to Ife. She said those are ascension headaches. So signs of ascension, and it makes sense. The frequency of the Earth is changing. The vibration is ringing heavy. Yeah, yeah. The vibration of the planet is changing, and especially those of you who are women. You definitely want to guard your emotions, guard the information that you take in. Be careful with the gossip now. Be careful with reality shows, because there's a lot of tension in the air, especially with this full moon with Mars. Literally, if you did some moon gazing this weekend or Friday, you've seen Mars over the moon, and I posted that on my Instagram page, that it was Mars over the moon, and also Jupiter and Saturn is also out there, very visible. So these particular luminaries are shining energy on the planet. So when the sun hits the moon, or the sun hits these planets, right? The reason we can see these things is because there's sunlight hitting them. So that's first and foremost, even in the dark. The reason we're able to see these things is because there's sunlight hitting them. So that means there is more energy on the planet right now, literally. So this is a great time to manifest the things that you want. Also, Pluto has gone direct. Pluto is the planet starting today. Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. The last planet so far in the solar system, and it's the planet of death and transformation. So right now, the things that you want to release, whether it's even if it's being broke, right, on a simple level, being broke, on a Monday level, being broke, relationship wise. You want to build a business. You want to start getting into business. You are spiritual, but you don't let anybody know. You're in the closet. You're unsure. Now is the time to step off the porch. Now is the time to conquer your fears. And the energy right now, I mean, Jupiter is the planet of abundance, Saturn, planet of law and order, Mars, the planet of war, and with Pluto going direct, the agent of transformation. If you're not right in the scenario, what's going to happen is you're going to be swept up by the media. You're going to be swept up by the Breonna Taylors. You're going to be swept up by the Donald Trumps. You're going to be swept up by the bullshit. And your emotional reaction is food. Your emotional reactions is our currency. Anytime you stress, anytime you worry, anytime that you feel unsure and you emit those emotions, it's actually a food source. So this is why people could do rituals when a Breonna Taylor dies, or do rituals, or when a Chadwick Boseman dies, because there's energy in the environment, especially around these moons and these supermoons that are occurring. There's a lot of energy in the environment. So this energy is a food source. So if I channel it to me, if I channel your, if you're in a crowd screaming "No justice, no peace," right? And I take that picture of you in the crowd, right? Put it on the altar, light a candle, you know what I'm saying? Put a petition under it. Now, when that energy of everybody chanting "No justice, no peace," when they're marching, now I've taken that energy and used it by myself, for myself. You understand? That's really alchemy, taking the energy from something else and channeling it to you. And I've done this with many things, especially a lot of news stories and things that pop up. When I see it as opportunities. For real. I see these things as opportunities. I try to live in the world, but not of the world. I would highly recommend you doing that, especially moving forward, that we're going into this conjunction, this conjunction, what I'm going to talk about, and going into the future and going beyond into 2022. 2022, just as a precursor, and then we're going to go into this video. It's on Instagram, but I know a lot of people didn't see it, and it's kind of complex. So I think we should break it down, go through it, and kind of show you what's to come, the possibility of what's to come, how this video itself makes sense, and then go into this article. This article is by this guy, Bill Hansen, very good astrologer. If you go on this particular page, astrobill.com, he predicted 2020 like to the motherfucking T, like month by month, strictly by using astrology, right? And if you look at his predictions, and this was in 2019 when he did these astrological predictions, and you look at what actually happened and go back, and for time I won't do that with y'all, but you can do this on your own, right? My job is not to hold y'all hand on the spiritual path. My job is to I could give you guidance. I could give you light on what to look for. But at the end of the day, you got to cook your own food. You know what I'm saying? I could give you the recipe, but at the end of the day, you got to cook your own food. So definitely, something you want to look at. I won't go into it for time. I'm going to go into this 2020 alignment because I want to show you how December 21st to December 24th is preparing you for the future. And these upcoming super moons are very important. A lot of times we focus strictly on the full moon, but these super moons, there's two more super moons that are going to pop off when the new moons are happening. One in October. One in November. One this month. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 15th or the 16th, and November as well. There's another. We already had a supermoon for the last new moon we had. So, so it's the 16th. I'm sorry, 16th of October is the new moon this month, and then the new moon next month will be the 15th. So even the numbers, the supermoon that we had was the 17th. So 17, 16, 15. So they're basically declining. And then we have this great triple alignment in December. So Indigo Child, the website is astrobill.com. ASTROBILL.com. And just for reference, like look at some of these predictions, some of the things that it's very interesting. This is this guy's it was pretty sharp, pretty on point. And I was able to also kind of looking at this, kind of be prepared for what's to come. Now, I didn't know when knew coronavirus was going to come. I haven't seen any astrologer say coronavirus was going to come, but he was dead close when you look at his readings. Now, so I think we should start with, and like I said, I woke up late, so I really didn't get a chance to prepare, but I already knew I wanted to talk about this for a long time. I've been telling y'all I want to talk about this for a while on a Sunday, and I think now is the best time for the family to really get a grasp on this. No problem, Indigo Child. So let's get into this video, and we'll break it down, and we'll go into some of the things in here. And it's the wordplay is very complex, so I'm going to just kind of stop it, pause it, go into it, so forth and so on.
So on December 21st, 2020, Mercury at the center, our sun in this domain, Mars in the next domain, and Saturn in the last domain, and all the moons on the other side will all stop and align in the same direction on the same path and gradient at the same time for the first time in 6,000 years. This is what we hypothesize is the long-awaited return of the sun/sun, or Christ, the galactic alignment, return of Nibiru, or Planet X, or consciousness, the great solar event. This cosmic solar alignment will take 3 days to fully align, starting on the 21st of December and ending on the 25th of December. The electromagnetic torus fields in all four realms will either disappear or open up or weaken due to this galactic solar alignment. This is the opening of the portals or windows of the heavens spoken of in the Bible. This opening should occur for 7 days, from the 25th to the 31st of December 2020. That also means everyone on Earth will all be able to see all the different wandering solar systems of all the domains clearly in our skies. Everyone will have 2020 vision. And if you think about it logically, if all the luminaries are at their lowest points, that would make everything above us easy to see, bright, and crystal clear. On a side note, isn't it interesting that we've all been conditioned to be the most busy during the specific time of year every year? and blinded to the Earth's true oscillations, signs, and beauty. Yeah, we celebrate. However, the ways we do it and the reasons we do it are perverted. Even with how many trees we cut down every year to carry out a ritual, which could actually be a geocentric ritual to begin with. The tree of life, the Christmas tree. This period of time is what the ancient cultures were describing when they said there was a time when the sky fell. Many ancient cultures also describe a time where there were many suns and many moons in our sky, and we believe history is about to repeat itself again. This phenomenon will affect and change our atmospheric conditions as well. These events periodically happen over cyclical time in various scales. The last big one occurred in 1859 and was called the Carrington event. Feel free to look it up. The one coming in 2020 is going to be much, much bigger. This solar alignment is meant to realign energy and consciousness within the various earthly domains and realms of our Earth. This
Okay, so everyone follow so far? Let me get a one if you're following so far, if you kind of understand what he's talking about and what he's going on. Drop a one in the comments to kind of see if you let me just see if you kind of get a grasp of what's going on and what he's talking about with this cosmic alignment. Okay, perfect. Okay. So this is serious business. You know what I'm saying? This is serious business. Basically what he's saying is if we always say as above, so below. So if there is chaos on planet Earth, as we all know there is, right? That also means in the heavens, and below, and the different universes, because we know science tells us that there's 200 billion 200 billion galaxies in this universe, right? And science has also told us recently that the way the universe moves, our galaxy moves in space. So it's not static, the Milky Way galaxy that we are in with the 9 planets. It's actually floating in space as the universe expands. So it's not static. Our galaxy is moving. So that means that there are galaxies that are over us and there are galaxies that are under us. I don't know if any of you guys saw the movie K-Pax. In the movie K-Pax, what he said was that your planet, this was what's his name? I forgot his name. Pedophile, but I forgot his name. Kevin something. But anyway, he was when he was K-Pax, he was saying that on his planet and in his universe, they were much more evolved. They had way better technology, and they were using light to move through planets and move through galaxies, right? So I'm gonna stop this, and you gotta go back and watch. Well, I mean, we're gonna continue going Element Queen, but you gotta go back and watch it. But basically, we're talking about basically universal alignment, right? With universes stacked on top of universes to the point where you're going to be able to look up. This is what they're predicting, that you're going to be able to look up and see the universe on this in this time period from December 21st to December 24th. December 21st to December 24th, he's saying that it's the 25th. I think it's going to be during the solstice, December 24th to December 21st to December 24th. Kevin Spacey, thank you, Jed Gore. And so when he was talking about the K-Pax, he was saying that they had better technology. So if you've noticed, there's been a lot of different things that's been happening as far as alien wise, right? Where they're saying that they're seeing different galaxies. They just said that there's a rogue planet, which I posted basically in my advertisement for this video, that there's a rogue planet out there in the sky. They don't know how close it is to Earth, and they don't know how far it is away from Earth, right? So there's different signs also. There's different lights out there in the sky that they call orcs. They're finding them. Lights in the sky that they call orcs. Very interesting. Very interesting things are happening. 1 second. Scientists discover unexplained glowing circles of energy in space. Okay. Scientists believe they have likely discovered a new and unexplained class of space object, the odd radio circle, or orc. Okay, so our radio circle or orc. So this in the movie Bright by Will Smith, this guy was an orc, and we all know if you watch the movie Lord of the Rings or something like that, we've heard of orcs before, but this guy was an orc. Okay, this was in the movie Bright, and obviously this was a movie about elves, right? About different alien life and things like that. So, and the movie's called Bright. So, what is it when we look out and see the stars? We're seeing bright lights. So, just to show you a connection between the metaphors, right? There's different things that are pointing out that we are not alone. And if you look on my Instagram, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go into everything. But if you look on my Instagram, you'll see me point out different peace to the Titan, peace to Kate, peace to Kate. Oh, what's up, Karama? But if you point out peace to Sire and the sky, yes, has a pink color in it. Also, the northern lights are closer. Northern lights, people are seeing the northern lights and northern lights are the light phenomenon. I believe it's in Canada, if I'm not correct. But the northern lights have been closer than ever recently. Give me 1 second. I just saw this article. But anyway, you might have to pull it up. But I did read an article that said the northern lights have actually showed up in places that they weren't supposed to show up. And they've been closer to Buffalo than ever before. But there's a lot of things that are happening. Lights in the sky, the rogue planet, all these things that are happening, showing the CIA and the FBI releasing all these documents that you've seen where they've talked about astral travel and quantum physics and what else they talk about, remote viewing, and they basically let everybody go. They let everything loose. Like all the jewels and stuff that they were keeping secret about esoteric. They also showed, the FBI also said that there's alien craft, that they know that there's alien craft here. So all these things that are happening are pointing to this very video. I'm gonna bring it back from the beginning. I'm not gonna say anything. Y'all could talk in the comments. But yeah, look at this shit. A rogue Earth mass planet discovered freely floating in the Milky Way without a motherfucking star. Like that's crazy. Let's pull this up real quick first, because I want y'all to see. And this is not gonna be PHYS. It's not really gonna be so much of a metaphysical discussion. It is, but it isn't. And why I say that is also look at this. There's 59 ancient Egyptian coffins that they found. Now I read this article already. This article, they found these coffins in the pyramid of Djoser. The pyramid of Djoser is the first pyramid ever built. Djoser's pyramid is the step pyramid. So when you look at the step pyramid, it's the pyramid it's not like this. It's different step blocks that ascend from the bottom up. It is the first pyramid. These are all priests that they opened up. All of these people are priests. All these 59 coffins. 9 plus 5 is 11. 11, as I told y'all guys, the last live video that I did, is a doorway. So you all heard the curse of the mummies and different things like that. The funny thing is they opened these things up, right? Or they stand it up over the sarcophagus. But the funny thing is Trump and them got COVID, right? Slowly, literally right around the time, what if we got COVID or not? But it came up around that time. So yeah, so that's just one of the things that's happening, right now. So it says the beginning of a big discovery. He spoke at a news conference of the famed step pyramid of Djoser and Saqqara, where the coffins were found. All right, and they were open for before reporters to show the mummy. Now, what's going on with that pyramid dust, or that dust that is in those coffins? We all know our ancestors were doing spell work, and so who knows what they've opened up and what they've engaged, right? So 2020 is still going to continue to become a wild year, and it's saying that these mummies come back to the Coptic period, range from the first dynasty, and of course before that. They're never going to really give you the full tale of the tape. But there's a lot of things that are happening. A lot of things that are happening, and you want to make sure that really that you're on point. Quantum computing is on its way as well. We're going to get into that a little bit. The next generation quantum computer, all right, light-based computer, all right. I was talking to shout out to Rogue Titan. He inboxed me yesterday some things we're going to get into as well. So I don't know why I can't find that article, but let's just get into that video real quick. I'll bring it back because I know a lot of y'all just came in. But yeah, this particular conversation is not about 2020, it's about 2022, because that's when the big changes are going to come, as far as the AI technology, as far as the quantum computing, where they're working on qubits, which is Q for light, bits, so bits of light, bits of quantum means light, quantum means light, so bits of light, and where they're going to start implanting in your brain and sending nanobots through viruses and vaccines that hook up to your brain. And we're also going to get into a little bit of the sentient world simulation. So we're just going to go into the video. I'm going to stop it where I feel appropriate. I'm going to bring it back real quick. Sorry for y'all who already watched it. I'm not bringing it back again after this, but bring it back to the beginning for those who are just coming in.
So
And
on
if
December 21st, 2020,
and hit that like button once you walk in, please. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Mercury at the center, our sun in this domain, Mars in the next domain, and Saturn in the last domain, and all the moons on the other side will all stop and align in the same direction on the same path and gradient at the same time for the first time in 6,000 years. This is what we hypothesize is the long-awaited return of the sun/sun, or Christ, the galactic alignment, return of Nibiru, or planet X, or consciousness, the great solar event. This cosmic solar alignment will take 3 days to fully align, starting on the 21st of December and ending on the 25th of December. The electromagnetic torus fields in all four realms will either disappear or open up or weaken due to this galactic solar alignment. This is the opening of the portals or windows of the heavens spoken of in the Bible. This opening should occur for 7 days, from the 25th to the 31st of December 2020. That also means everyone on Earth will all be able to see all the different wandering solar systems of all the domains clearly in our skies.
Crazy.
Everyone will have 2020 vision. And if you think about it logically, if all the luminaries are at their lowest points, that would make everything above us easy to see, bright, and crystal clear. On a side note, isn't it interesting that we've all been conditioned to be the most busy during the specific time of year every year, and blinded to the Earth's true oscillations, signs, and beauty? Yeah, we celebrate. However, the ways we do it and the reasons we do it are perverted, even with how many trees we cut down every year to carry out a ritual, which could actually be a geocentric ritual to begin with. The tree of life, the Christmas tree. This period of time is what the ancient cultures were describing when they said there was a time when the sky fell. Many ancient cultures also describe a time where there were many suns and many moons in our sky, and we believe history is about to repeat itself again. This phenomenon will affect and change our atmospheric conditions as well. These events periodically happen over cyclical time in various scales. The last big one occurred in 1859 and was called the Carrington event. Feel free to look it up. The one coming in 2020 is going to be much, much bigger.
So let's look up this Carrington event, shall we, and see what they're talking about. Sorry about that's my computer going ham. Peace, Antoine. So let's look up this Carrington event and see what they're talking about. You said this already happened before, right? So I've done this already. As you can see, it's already in my search. Okay. Now, I've been telling y'all about this also to get prepared, right? And even if you look at the sun and study the solar flares of the sun has been heating up. There's a lot of energy that's been coming from the sun lately. A lot of what they call coronal mass ejections, and we'll Google that, and you'll see some stories where they're talking about corona, the mass ejections, how the sun has been heating up even more last week, and there's more energy being generated from the sun, which is why we're getting a lot of these effects, these ear ringings, these not being able to sleep, these headaches, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of things are going on. Peace, Straight Panther. Peace, Antoine. All right. So, a solar Carrington event was a powerful geomagnetic storm on September 2nd, 1859, during solar cycle 10. So, a solar coronal mass injection hit Earth's magnetosphere, which is basically on the outside. So, you go, there's ionosphere, magnetosphere, etc., before you go into outer space, and induced the largest geomagnetic storm on record. The associated white light flare in the solar photosphere was observed and recorded by British astronomers Richard Carrington and Richard Hodgson. So obviously it's named the Carrington event for him. The storm caused strong auroral. What do you have for aura? All right. So auroral, which is basically in this particular case, they're talking about different colors that look rainbowish, right? But they're using aurora, but it's really an aura, which is the electromagnetic field that is from your body. Okay. So your aura is generated from your heart chakra. That is your electromagnetic field that you have, that you generate on your own. So you generate your aura from there. Okay. But this is talking about that rainbow colored field, which is the energy, which is just like the chakra system, those colors that generates when you are vibing high, so to speak. And there's also always electrical or electromagnetic field that is around you. Yep, same cash app. And also at the end of this, I'm going to shout out the people who cash app last time. And this next video, I'm going to shout out the people who cash app this time. So I appreciate all the cash apps, for real, for real. Seriously. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. Um, so the storm caused strong auroral displays and wrought havoc with telegraph systems. Okay. So this is threatening to basically shut down all the satellites, shut down all the computers, right? Different things that can happen. So NASA lying when they say they've been to space. I don't know. That's the honest answer. I don't know. Anyone who says that they really know is lying. But I do know that there are satellites out there, right? So as far as them being on the moon, that could be a little shaky as far as that conspiracy theory goes. But there are a lot of satellites. Elon Musk and them are always shooting rockets out. So based on just the amount of evidence, I mean, I've seen space shuttles since 1988 being lifted off from the ground. Like I literally watched one on TV and I watched the space shuttle in '88 blow up as a child, the space shuttle Challenger. So they've been sending rockets out in space, and even before the space shuttle Challenger, they were sending rockets out of space for a long time. So whether it was space, whether it was someplace else, shout out to whoever dropped the cash app. I appreciate you. Shout out to the space. Shout out to I mean they shout out to space. I have a headache. I'm telling you. But they sent these things out into these anyway, I lost my thought. But there's a solar storm, right? So the solar storm of this magnitude occurring today would cause widespread electrical destructions, blackouts, and damage due to extended outages of the electrical grid. Okay? Extended outages of the electrical grid. The solar storm of 2012 was of a similar magnitude, but it passed Earth's orbit without striking the planet. Now, if you guys have been following other esoteric teachers, right, they've been saying that the Ethiopian calendar 2020 is 2012. So 2020 is 2012. And the Mayans predicted that the world would end in 2012, right? That the world would end when 2020 is. But maybe not the world being destroyed, but the world that we know, right? The world that we currently know now. where things are running so-called the way they're supposed to be. But now we will enter a new reality once we are able to see these different galaxies and things like that. And let's go into a little bit of I want to show y'all a little bit of what some of these recent news stories, because a lot of people aren't talking about this, and it's quite quite interesting. Shout out to everyone's who is dropping the cash apps. I do appreciate it. Um, so see, that's why you shouldn't do a live without doing research, because now all of a sudden I can't pull up these articles. But there's news articles. If you follow science and stuff like, oh, let me that maybe that's it. Let me type in news. That's what I've been going on. All right. So see, 2 days predicting the threat of a chaotic sun. U.S. experts 2 weeks ago, solar storms likely on a upswing. A CMA event could look like World War III 3 weeks ago. That's shining light on heating the solar corona 2 weeks ago. All right. So these things are happening. All right. These things are happening. It's not just conjecture. I'm not just talking out of my ass. This is actually happening. All right. So you want to be prepared. You want to be prepared. Okay. I want to be prepared. So let's get back into this.
This solar alignment is meant to realign cosmic energy and consciousness within the various earthly domains and realms of our Earth. This energy blast will begin at the center of the Earth, or the North Pole. It will spiral outwards towards the edge and bounce back towards the center over a very short period of time. The event itself will be triggered by an electromagnetic sonic boom that will look like what we know as a nuclear atomic bomb.
See that shit?
Don't worry though, it will not be an atomic bomb. However, it will positively be nuclear. It will give humanity a new, clear vision for the future, individually and collectively. It will.
So isn't everything that's happening this year, is it not brand new? Like the coronavirus to even how we order stuff, like everybody's ordering their own type of crazy things. We ordering from Amazon like crazy. Like it's just a new reality. People losing their jobs. Like everything this year is happening is new. We are all going through different changes. Rob Blackstorm too. Like we're all going through different changes and different upgrades, and we all are trying to find our way and figure our way. Now, those that are asleep, right? Those that are asleep, those that are just mindless eaters, right? The savages, the regular humans, they are going to be caught up when this happens, and they're going to think that it's Jesus. They're going to think that it's their heavenly Father, right? They're going to think that it's the angels, and they're going to be fucked up. And this is going to be another way that the government is going to be able to manipulate them. I remember I told y'all Spider-Man Far From Home started when they were going back to school. Now, the kids haven't really officially gone back to school yet, at least in New York. I don't know about your states, right? But they haven't officially gone back to school yet. But they're starting little by little to start to open up the schools, right? I believe these events, once they start happening, you're going to get the mass ejection, and I think you're going to get two things. I think you're going to get that Carrington event that they showed with the solar flare, and also this event is going to follow right behind it. And everything that's happening, including the time that we all had off to sit our asses home and get ourselves right mentally, spiritually, and physically, is preparing you for these events. Even this Pluto going direct today, more preparation for these events, these new supermoons, more since this event. New York's been doing great, Antoine. New York's been doing great. In March, they said all of us that lived in the Bronx were going to die. Right. That was the narrative. But the God was outside. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still here, and I'm always going to be here because fuck Corona. I'm going to kill that shit if that shit even tries to come my way. You know what I'm saying? That shit's not even going to try to fuck with my immune system. That shit, see, my immune system is going to go that way. Okay? So I'm not I'm not worried, but I'm not stupid either. I take my precautions. If I'm in a big space, I wear my mask or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, wash my hands more than I used to, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So, and if I even feel something sick, I got videos, I got a million things, tools and stuff, teas and herbs and tinctures that I take on a morning basis. Liquid ormus, liquid gold, colloidal silver, And I think once you take these things, man, your immune system ain't gonna fuck with you. Corona can't fuck with your immune system, or colds or flus or none of that shit. So take care of yourself. And I definitely have made much more of a concerted effort to take care of myself, much more than I normally have. So, so as far as New York, I mean, New York's, the restaurants are closed and stuff like that, but otherwise things are slowly opening up, little by little. But the numbers are spiking. They said again, and of course the numbers are spiking, and the reason the numbers are spiking is because of the 5G. But I want to show y'all um something. Let me see if I could pull it up. Okay, so 5G is getting faster, right? 5G is getting faster. And look, T-Mobile has expanded its faster 5G network to more cities. So it's not ironic. It's ironic that actually I should say that 5G, as soon as there's more 5G, there's more places now. The numbers in New York has spiked back up because they've expanded 5G. This was 5 days ago. So they're expanding their network. 5G is getting faster. Okay. So these things are happening here and now. So as 5G fastest, and they figured out that 5G can um go a little faster. Antoine, we'll discuss that on I will discuss that. But is it a ritual of him getting corona? I don't know. And honestly, it's kind of some honestly, who cares if he died? Nah, let me not say that. But let me go back to the video. Let's go back to the video. Let me not say that on a picture, but I feel like Draco did in Rocky.
Give us 2020 vision. We suspect the current powers that be will attempt to use this natural cosmic event as the ultimate false flag. They may say aliens did it, or it was caused by global warming, or an attack from across the world. This sonic boom of the Earth, or the North Pole, it will spiral outwards towards the edge and bounce back toward in 1859 and was called the Carrington event. Feel free to look it up. The one coming in 2020 is going to be much, much bigger. This solar alignment is meant to realign cosmic energy and consciousness within the various earthly domains and realms of our Earth. This energy blast will begin at the center of the Earth, or the North Pole. It will spiral outwards towards the edge and bounce back towards the center over a very short period of time. The event itself will be triggered by an electromagnetic sonic boom that will look like what we know as a nuclear atomic bomb. Don't worry though, it will not be an atomic bomb. However, it will positively be nuclear. It will give humanity a new, clear vision for the future, individually and collectively. It will give us 2020 vision. We suspect
Peace, Ray, got
powers
us.
that be will attempt to use this natural cosmic event as the ultimate false flag.
Mm.
They may say aliens did it, or it was caused by global warming, or an attack.
Now, Spider-Man Far From Home, if you watch Spider-Man Far From Home, Marvel movie Spider-Man Far From Home, what happened? The main character was Mysterio. What was Mysterio doing? Mysterio was creating shit like this. He was creating images and saying that the images were and basically the government and everybody he had everybody buying in to these images, right? That and that's saying that it was a fake reality and creating a fake reality with these images. So it's the same thing that the government will use these events the same way Mysterio was using these images and weaponizing them for their purpose. But it's really this situation happened, this universal connection. This particular video, there's a longer video of this on YouTube. I just didn't have the time to find it, and I copied a video of the whole video, but it got messed up in the copy. I didn't realize till I try to replay it 5 minutes before I started this live. But I wanted to be on time. I didn't want to push this back because it's very important. But he talks about in this particular video, he talks about the universes being stacked on top of each other, and basically this alignment of these different universe, the Andromeda galaxy, these different galaxies being stacked on top of each other, and being stacked on top of each other, how they are able to cause this event, which is what this circle looks like. All right.
Phenomenon will affect and change our atmospheric conditions as well. These events periodically happen over cyclical time in various scales. The last big one occurred in 1859, and the one coming in 2020 is going to be much, much bigger. This solar alignment is meant to realign cosmic energy and consciousness within the various earthly domains and realms of our Earth. This energy blast will begin at the center of the Earth, or the North Pole. It will spiral outwards towards the edge and bounce back towards the center over a very short period of time.
Now imagine
Itself will be triggered by an electromagnetic sonic boom that will look like what we know as a nuclear atomic bomb. Don't worry though, it will not be an atomic bomb. However, it will positively be nuclear. It will give humanity a new, clear vision for the future, individually and collectively. It will give us 2020 vision. We suspect the current powers that be will attempt to use this natural cosmic event as the ultimate false flag. They may say aliens did it, or it was caused by global warming, or an attack from across the world. This sonic boom of electromagnetic energy may shut down our entire electric grid instantaneously, causing a collapse of our financial, socio-economic, political, and collective cultural existence as we know it.
So looking at this, doesn't it make sense why Trump had a space force this year? Why they created a space force? Think about it. I ain't never really heard about a space force since Trump.
And thus, this event may be used to pave the way for a new order in our world. But this cosmic event is not to be feared. It is a natural process to allow growth within our individual and collective consciousness. The greenish astral rays that this event will create will cover the entire plane of our Earth for a short period of time. Again, it is not to be feared. Governments and authorities will most likely tell us that this green mist caused by this event is a toxin. They will tell us to stay indoors and not go outside into the radiation. Avoid it at all costs. They will say it's harmful radiation. And it will be. For those who have heavy metals in their bodies, i.e. vaccines, iron from meat eating, etc. But for those without harmful chemicals in their bodies, the radiation will radiate and activate dormant DNA, potentially giving you supernatural abilities. Maybe not Superman-like, however, a heavy increase in consciousness and your five senses will be expected. And for those of us planning to make the pilgrimage up north to the central realm of our Earth, aka the Garden of Eden, this will be our window of opportunity. Many of you here will also know the Mayans predicted the end of their calendar year, or the apocalypse, would happen on the 21st of December, 2012. Take note of this date, December 21st, 2012. The Bible also talks about the 7 trumpets of preparation before the return of Christ, or the Son of God. And after the 7th trumpet, he, the great Son, will return. Well, we hypothesize that the Mayans were spot on with their prediction. Their December 21st, 2012 date marked the beginning of the end. And the 7th trumpet, of course, 7 years later, December 21st, 2019, which means December 21st, 2020 will be the first year after the 7 trumpets, the 8th year, 8 of course being the number of completion. And it is also written that everyone on earth will witness the return of Christ consciousness, or the Son of God. Side note.
Crazy, right? Oh, my bad.
For those who have heavy metals in their bodies, i.e. vaccines, iron from meat eating.
So those who have heavy metals in their bodies, i.e. vaccines. Okay, so, and this is the great conjunction that they're talking about, and we'll get into shortly. All right.
Etc. But for those without harmful chemicals in their bodies, the radiation will radiate and activate dormant DNA, potentially giving you supernatural abilities. Maybe not Superman-like, however, a heavy increase in consciousness and your five senses will be expected. And for those of us planning to make the pilgrimage up north to the central realm of our Earth, aka the Garden of Eden, this will be our window of opportunity. Many of you...
Now, if you notice well, you guys may not know, but Antarctica, right? Antarctica was in Transformers, the last Transformers movie. Antarctica was also in the last Godzilla movie. Antarctica, I believe, what was that other movie that they had? But anyway, Antarctica is a place that is highly secure, highly protected. And the reason it's highly secured and highly protected is they say that there is alien life there, and alien life that they have captured, they keep in Antarctica, right? So they keep it in the prison in Antarctica to observe it. And if you notice, he said moving up north is when you will be able to see this even clearer. So the further north you go, so those in Canada, those are, in Canada and stuff like that, Antarctica, you will see this event, those that are on the north. But this event will be something that will be seen worldwide. So imagine when everyone sees this shit and they haven't seen this video or they haven't heard Rob Blackstorm speak about this video, how they're going to react. And imagine now that you have the upper hand of seeing all this, how do you feel? And now you have the ability to prepare. Now you understand that this is a very, very serious time. So if you've been playing games, actually, if you've been fucking playing games, to put emphasis so you niggas hear me, stop playing games. All right. You have tonight to work it out. All right. Write it out, figure it out, ritual it out, whatever you need to do. But you need to start taking action and you need to start moving forward in whatever your purpose is, whatever your goals is. Also, you want to get yourself some food, have some food in your house, have some water in your house. All right. Some bottles of water. Don't be out here when these things happen and everything shuts down and you don't have no food and you can't feed your family. Get a heater, get electric things that you could charge, get some type of solar charger. I've told y'all about this months ago, but I didn't show y'all this video. But now that you're seeing these things, you'll see how serious it is. So let's continue. I know I keep bringing it back, but I ain't gonna bring it back no more. I'm gonna let it play. I promise. If y'all have questions, y'all can stop, but I'm gonna bring it back from here.
Cosmic energy and consciousness within the various for the ways we do it and the reasons we opening should occur for.
All right. I'm gonna let it play. I'm gonna let it play.
Mercury at the center, our sun in this domain, Mars in the next domain, and Saturn in the last domain, and all the moons on the other side will all stop and align in the same direction on the same path and gradient at the same time for the first time in 6,000 years. This is what we hypothesize is the long-awaited return of the sun or Christ, the galactic alignment, return of Nibiru or Planet X or consciousness, the great solar event. This cosmic solar alignment will take 3 days to fully align, starting on the 21st of December and ending on the 25th of December. The electromagnetic torus fields in all four realms will either disappear or open up or weaken due to this galactic solar alignment. This is the opening of the portals or windows of the heavens spoken of in the Bible. This opening should occur for 7 days, from the 25th to the 31st of December 2020. That also means everyone on Earth will all be able to see all the different wandering solar systems of all the domains clearly in our skies. Everyone will have 20/20 vision. And if you think about it logically, if all the luminaries are at their lowest points, that would make everything above us easy to see, bright, and crystal clear. On a side note, isn't it interesting that we've all been conditioned to be the most busy during the specific time of year every year and blinded to the Earth's true oscillations, signs, and beauty?
Talk about it.
We celebrate. However, the ways we do it and the reasons we do it are perverted. Even with how many trees we cut down every year. We celebrate. However, the ways we do it and the reasons we do it, the Earth's true oscillations, signs, and beauty. Yeah, we celebrate. However, the ways we do it and the reasons we do it are perverted. Even with how many trees we cut down every year to carry out a ritual, which could actually be a geocentric ritual to begin with. The tree of life, the Christmas tree. This period of time is what the ancient cultures were describing when they said there was a time when the sky fell. Many ancient cultures also describe a time where there were many suns and many moons in our sky, and we believe history is about to repeat itself again. This phenomenon will affect and change our atmospheric conditions as well. These events periodically happen over cyclical time in various scales. The last big one occurred in 1859 and was called the Carrington event. Feel free to look it up. The one coming in 2020 is going to be much, much bigger. This solar alignment is meant to realign cosmic energy and consciousness within the various earthly domains and realms of our Earth. This energy blast will begin at the center of the Earth, or the North Pole. It will spiral outwards towards the edge and bounce back towards the center over a very short period of time. The event itself will be triggered by an electromagnetic sonic boom that will look like what we know as a nuclear atomic bomb. Don't worry though, it will not be an atomic bomb. However, it will positively be nuclear. It will give humanity a new, clear vision for the future, individually and collectively. It will give us 2020 vision. We suspect the current powers that be will attempt to use this natural cosmic event as the ultimate false flag. They may say aliens did it, or it was caused by global warming, or an attack from across the world. This sonic boom of electromagnetic energy may shut down our entire electric grid instantaneously, causing a collapse of our financial, socio-economic, political, and collective cultural existence as we know it.
Get your food and water.
This event may be used to pave the way for a new order in our world. But this cosmic event is not to be feared. It is a natural process to allow growth within our individual and collective consciousness. The greenish astral rays that this event will create will cover the entire plane of our Earth for a short period of time. Again, it is not to be feared. Governments and authorities will most likely tell us. So on.
Sorry. You guys are going to kill me.
This cosmic event is not to be feared. It is a natural process to allow growth within our individual and collective consciousness.
Now, doesn't this explain why 2020 is so crazy? Doesn't this explain why all these things are happening? Doesn't this explain why the fuck I have a headache now and I barely have headaches? Doesn't this explain why you've been feeling the jitters, why you've been feeling crazy, why you may have broke up with your love, why you may have just gone through all the things that you've gone through this year out of nowhere? No time in history has ever been like 2020 that we know of. I was talking to somebody, a man, 92 years old, outside of my building in a wheelchair. And I was talking about this with him in kind of easier to understand language, the different effects. So he's conscious to a degree. He used to be a god body, right? So we have these different conversations, and he was like, man, he said, in all my life, I've never seen anything like 2020, ever. You know what I'm saying? Ever. And this man has seen it all. You know what I'm saying? But he's never seen anything like this. And I've never seen anything like this. And I know you haven't. So this explains why these things are happening. And this explains what's going on. And this is really the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunction that we're going into. All right. So let's continue. Would it be beneficial to cleanse during this time? Hell yeah. Super beneficial. Super. These last 3 to 4 months are critical to lead up to this date. Super critical. But there's going to be a lot of distractions, a lot of shit that's going to be thrown your way to keep your vibration lowered. There's going to be more Breonna Taylor incidences. There's going to be more shit that happens in the government. There's going to be the election. There's going to be more chaos because the powers that be know that they have to continue to keep your vibration lower. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody got shot tomorrow and it's televised on Monday morning. So when you come out of this full moon energy and go to work, your vibration is lowered again. I wouldn't be surprised because that's the game. And that's what they continue to try to do is lower. Every time you see a police shooting, don't look at it as a police shooting. And even though we're empathetic people and we have empathy for these people, separate yourself from the situation. Observe everybody and how they're reacting. Observe the collective and what they're doing. And see if that's really what you want to be doing. If that energy is something you want to feed into. Because at the end of the day, it's all energy, right? It's not personal. Energy doesn't care. The Bible says it rains on the wicked and it rains on the righteous. It does not care. Energy doesn't care. Only thing energy wants to do is flow. And you direct that energy how you wish. So if you want to direct your energy to the next police victim, be my guest. But please know when you are doing that, you are lowering your vibration, lowering your frequency, and taking on actually something that doesn't have anything to do with you personally. Because if little Ray down the block got shot, guess what? There's no vigil for him. There's no Black Lives Matter for him. There's no motherfucking Tamika Mallory is not going to talk about him. My son is not going to talk about him. My son is not going to talk about Lil Sheila that got killed by her boyfriend yesterday. That's not going to be. So you got to realize, if you got to ask yourself, are you being played? Are you being manipulated? Why are these people highlighted all the time? Why are they highlighting certain people? Why are all these stories of these police killings that they televise sketchy, where there's like little pieces where you could say, oh, this is why he did it, or this is why they didn't do it, this is why they killed them, or this is why they killed them, or they're just stories that are very, very where you could play both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like you could say, oh, George Floyd was a drug dealer, right? Or George Floyd was on drugs, and George Floyd put a gun to the pregnant woman's belly. All these stories have these different angles where you could attack it from a liberal side and from a conservative side. Watch what you're watching and watch what you're paying attention to. Even if y'all talking about going to vote and voting for these people, if there's two people, if you know that the government is a business, the government, America is a business, America is a corporation, and you see these two people out here playing these roles, you have to ask yourself, who's in control of these two people? You know what I'm saying? Who's in control of these two people? Why does the Treasury not, why does the United States Treasury not get involved? Why is the United States Treasury a private entity in America, but they supply all the money? Who's really in control? Is it really conservative? Is it really Republican? You know what I'm saying? Or those are the people that, are you looking for them to be your saviors? Are you going to really invest yourself in where these people are going? Where the media is take you? Don't let the media run you niggas. All right? Don't let the media run you niggas. See what's happening in the media, observe it, but try not to be involved, because there's bigger things ahead, such as this. Yes, yes, Indigo Child, it's all the motherfucking distractions.
The greenish astral rays that this event will create will cover the entire plane of our Earth for a short period of time. Again, it is not to be feared. Governments and authorities will most likely tell us that this green mist caused by this event is a toxin. They will tell us to stay indoors and not go outside into the radiation. Avoid it at all costs. They will say it's harmful radiation. And it will be. For those who have heavy metals in their bodies, i.e. vaccines, iron from meat eating, etc. But for those without harmful radiation will radiate and activate dormant DNA, potentially giving you supernatural abilities. Maybe not Superman-like, however, a heavy new order in our world. But this cosmic event is not to be feared. It is a natural process to allow growth within our individual and collective consciousness. The greenish astral rays that this event will create will cover the entire plane of our Earth for a short period of time. Again, it is not to be feared. Governments and authorities will most likely tell us that this green mist caused by this event is a toxin. They will tell us to stay indoors and not go outside into the radiation. Avoid it at all costs. They will say it's harmful radiation. And it will be. For those who have heavy metals in their bodies, i.e. vaccines, iron from meat eating, etc. But radiation will radiate and activate dormant DNA, potentially giving, and it will be. For those who have heavy metals in their bodies, i.e. vaccines, iron from meat eating, etc. But for those without harmful chemicals in their bodies, the radiation will radiate and activate dormant DNA, potentially giving you supernatural abilities. Maybe not Superman-like, however, a heavy increase in consciousness and your five senses will be expected. And for those of us planning to make the pilgrimage up north to the central realm of our Earth, aka the Garden of Eden, this will be our window of opportunity. Many of you here will also know the Mayans predicted the end of their calendar year, or the apocalypse, would
That's
happen
right.
on the 21st of December, 2012.
I just said
Take
this.
note of this date, December 21st, 2012. The Bible also talks about the 7 trumpets of preparation before the return of Christ, or the Son of God. And after the 7th trumpet, he, the great Son will return. Well, we hypothesized that the Mayans were spot on with their prediction. Their December 21st, 2012 date marked the beginning of the end. And the 7th trumpet, of course, 7 years later, December 21st, 2019, which means December 21st, 2020 will be the first year after the 7 trumpets, the 8th year. 8, of course, being the number of completion. And it is also written that everyone on earth will witness the return of Christ consciousness, or the Son of God. Side note, we are just citing scriptures. None of us on the team here are religious or trying to push any dogma on anyone. Moving on, we hypothesize that the opening of these electromagnetic torus fields on the 25th of December 2020 will create an atmospheric plasma discharge due to all the different solar systems of our cosmos being in direct contact with one another. This will create a rainbow effect atmosphere all over Earth in all the realms, an atmospheric twilight, if you will. More importantly, though, this opening event will also allow for physical travel between all four realms or domains for those with the technology or means to do so. We might call this real interdimensional or outer or inner space travel. Here's a
I just hope, I just hope they beam me up. That's what I hope. I just want them to beam me up and take me in the ship and get me the fuck out of here. All right, that's my hope. Let's go. Let's continue.
another red pill. NASA has openly admitted on numerous occasions that we humans cannot go past low Earth orbit or beyond the Van Allen electromagnetic belts or domes. However, during this period, we believe
Now, now, what they're talking about with the Van Allen belt, all right? And they may mention in this video, but if you notice, when Tesla shoots off a rocket, right? I think he's been trying to break this Van. I think they talk about this in this video though. Let me continue it going. Let me continue it. Sorry, I know I said I'm not going to stop it.
we will finally be able to do so. And what does that mean for us? Well, all these different realms are going through their own individual cosmic shifts, seasons, and ages. Because the spiral ripple began at the center, it technically means that at the center, the inner dome or realm is 3,000 years ahead of us. They have already had 3,000 years of Bronze Age.
Okay, so this particular, I want to stop this just so you guys can look at this. And these are the different galaxies that he's talking about. Polarians, the Arians, which we know that's not really a galaxy, but he's white, so of course he's going to say that. But the Polarians, the Atlanteans, Lemurian, Hyper, blah blah blah, whatever that is, Hyperborean, and the Andromeda, and all these different galaxies coming into alignment. Okay, so very interesting.
Where we in this realm haven't yet. Our reset happened 3,000 years after theirs. Admitted on numerous occasions that we humans cannot go past low Earth orbit or beyond the Van Allen electromagnetic belts or domes. However, during this period, we believe we will finally be able to do so. And what does that mean for us? Well, all these different realms are going through their own individual cosmic shifts, seasons, and ages. Because the spiral ripple began at the center, it technically means that at the center, the inner dome or realm is 3,000 years ahead of us. They have already had 3,000 years of Bronze Age, where we in this realm haven't yet. Our reset happened 3,000 years after theirs, which means during this 7-day cosmic event, anyone able or allowed to enter this inner realm will technically be time traveling 3,000 years into the future or ahead of time. In layman's terms, I'm saying that this inner domain is 3,000 years ahead of us technologically, physically, mentally, spiritually, and consciously.
K-Pax. Okay, if you haven't seen K-Pax, watch K-Pax, K-P-A-X, K-Pax with Kevin Spacey. And he talks about being from another planet and how technologically advanced they are. Also, when you also see, you don't even have to watch that movie, any alien movie, Predator, Alien, they always show technology being way more advanced than the technology here on Earth. So it makes sense.
And yes, this is where we propose the concept of time travel into the future comes from. And on the flip side, as the ripple is shifting outwards towards the Mars domain, they would now be 3,000 years behind us. So, going from our plane to theirs, we would be time traveling backwards 3,000 years. Interdimensional earthly time travel is not just a matter of anyone packing their bags and simply going there. There are obviously many extenuating circumstances, like universal and natural laws, that determine how, when, and who can travel where. For instance, the advanced Bronze and Silver Age beings at the center would not want or allow any primitive Iron Age being from the outside into their domain, as it would unbalance their natural harmonic existence. So anyone here from this realm wishing to travel ahead of time into this inner realm would generally need to be, quote unquote, ahead of their time here, where we currently are, vibrating at a high frequency.
So basically you hear what he's saying. He's saying that this particular, you have to basically, he's saying you have to be a light body. You have to be a being of light. You have to be a god. You can't be a human. You can't be a savage. You can't be caught up in the trappings of this world. You can't feel like if you get $1 billion that you've mastered life and you don't need to do anything else and that's your main goal. The goal is to become a god. The goal is to access your highest divinity. The goal is to access your highest form of magic. And the goal is to vibrate on the highest frequency that you can. All right. So exactly, Dawn. Yep, there's heavy metals in the food, heavy metals in the deodorant, all these things that weigh you down. Remember, the Cometians taught that in order to go into heaven or go into the underworld, right, which was also a battle before you became an or seer, or you could say a high level deity, right, or become a star, go back into becoming a star, because that's really the goal. From stardust to stardust, right? Ashes to ashes, stardust to stardust. So the goal is really to go back to become a star, so you don't have to reincarnate back into Earth. So that's also about becoming a light body. All right. Oh, you said Fringe on Amazon. All right, I gotta check that out. I didn't know it was deep, but I'm gonna check that out. That recommendation. Let me write it down. Fringe. But yeah, so that's what he's talking about. The same things I've been talking about, for the past year. Okay, getting yourself in order, getting yourself intact, using some of these techniques, accessing your ancestors, meditation, high frequency vibrations, different brainwave entrainment, things like that to get yourself ready. Maybe you want to, if you're smoking cigarettes, maybe you want to ease off them, what I'm saying, slowly but surely, starting now, figure out a way to do that. Tobacco, maybe you want to start smoking your weed, your joints, in paper and stuff like that. Just different things so that you're not weighed down. So if this is actually true, and you do have access to these different realms, don't you want to don't you want to be able to be selected by these beings that are much more technologically advanced, these light body beings, so that you can be recognized by them, even if it's just to receive spiritual power here on Earth? What if you start seeing motherfuckers fly in 2021? You know what I'm saying? This is the type of thing that could happen where people start getting downloaded powers, just like in that cartoon Static Shock. Something happened in Static Shock, same thing. A solar flare happened, and then everybody started to become super. There's different people started to have superpowers in the cartoon Static Shock. So it could be this type of event that does happen. All right. And it's been in many cartoons, many graphic novels, things like that. Something similar to this. Let's continue. And if you're in here, please like, share, subscribe, hit the like button. Also, please, this is a service to y'all. I don't have to do this, but I'm doing this out of love. So please hit the donate button. It does keep me going. It does keep me motivated. And, I am going to read these donations off the next video, and the people who donated the last video, I'll really read your name at the end of this. Man, it's just good to support those who are supporting you. It's good karma, good energy. All right. Peace to y'all. All right, so let's go. Yes, Element Queen. Remember that in Legend of Korra? Yeah, she's on something. She's onto something. Yes, in Legend of Korra, the same thing happened. If you watch the show Legend of Korra, the same exact thing happened where they opened up where Korra was opening up the different realms, and this type of event happened, and the spirit world was actually combined with the human world. So go watch Legend of Korra. Thank you for that, Element Queen. So let's do that.
Spiritually, mentally, physically, mind, body, and soul. Many scriptures call this the days of reckoning, or judgment day, or the return of a messiah or messenger of some kind. In this case, we believe this is the so-called event, the return of Messiah. Anyway, let's move on. Those who are ahead of their time in this realm will somehow be given the opportunity to go up ahead of time into this inner or upper realm when the time comes. Likewise, we also believe that those still lagging or holding on to old, outdated, backwards paradigms will of course naturally be drawn back in time to the outer realm. This is where we hypothesize our current elite establishment is planning on going to install a new world order for those beings out there. Most people in our realm, though, will be staying here, in this domain, after the event, to continue experiencing, learning, and growing in the upcoming new Bronze Age and One World Order. And exactly how or what this new age or order is going to be, who knows exactly, but what we do know is that this domain will not be anything like it currently is today after the event. And so finally, when these 7 days have passed over, January 1st, 2021, on New Year's Day, the first day of the first month of 2021, the electromagnetic torus fields or domes of each domain will fall back into place as they were. the celestial bodies will realign, and once again, the wandering planets or suns and moons will resume their natural cycles, seasons, and movements, thus allowing for all the different domains to begin their new respective cosmic solar and celestial ages. And so, the wheels of time will continue to turn, forever moving forward in cyclical cycles and seasons. Now, of course, we're very much aware that what we are proposing may happen seems a little outrageous and possibly overwhelming. Or let's face it, you might think this is batch crazy if you're hearing this kind of stuff for the first time. But we're not trying to preach or sell anything, simply sharing information based on cosmological, astrological, mythological, and observable reality, syncretized research. This could all be completely wrong, or even slightly wrong, and if so, that's fine, no harm done, life goes on. Or this could be partially right, or even very close to the truth, at which point, if or when these events occur, at least those of us who will have received this good news will be prepared, mentally, psychologically, and possibly spiritually as well. Of course, right now under this system, we are collectively going through some very difficult birthing pains as we make this shift. However, those in tune with these changes are adapting and consciously evolving with it. This is the so-called conscious awakening. But even more importantly, those who fully understand what's going on are able to accordingly prepare for the changes that are occurring and coming. This is what J.P. Morgan meant when he was quoted saying, "Astrology. Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Astrology is simply the natural science."
Now, yes, and that is true. If you look up J.P. Morgan was very big on astrology. The same George Soros that everybody talks about, funding Black Lives Matter and funding all these different pro-black movements. George Soros also is a person. His fund, what got him big, it was called Quantum Fund. This was before quantum physics was known to the public. He had a fund called the Quantum Fund, which means light. So these people are tapped in. J.P. Morgan talked about astrology and had astrologers. So these people are tapped into the occult, as we all know, you know. So a lot of times people will say, well, I don't want to do this spiritual shit. Things like that. Fix your Cash App name on the pinned comment you created. All right, thank you. But these people know what's up. They know what's going on. They know how to manipulate. They know how to influence you so that you are not prepared. So that's why all the stress is being implemented into the environment the way it is. It's not for no reason. All right. It's not for no reason. Oh, you're right. I did. So let me play this while I fix the Cash App name. Thank you for that.
Of understanding, reading, recording, and following seasons and cycles of the stars and heavens of our universe. Supposing may happen seems a little outrageous and possibly overwhelming. Or let's face it, you might think this is batch crazy if you're hearing this kind of stuff for the first time. But we're not trying to preach or sell anything, simply sharing information based on cosmological, astrological, mythological, and observable reality, syncretized research. This could all be completely wrong, or even slightly wrong, and if so, that's fine, no harm done, life goes on. Or this could be partially right, or even very close to the truth, at which point, if or when these events occur, at least those of us who will have received this good news will be prepared, mentally, psychologically, and possibly spiritually as well. Of course, right now under this domain, we are collectively going through some very difficult birthing pains as we make this shift. However, those in tune with these changes are adapting and consciously evolving with it. This is the so-called conscious awakening. But even more importantly, those who fully understand what's going on are able to accordingly prepare for the changes that are occurring and coming. This is what J.P. Morgan meant when he was quoted saying, "Astrology. Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Astrology is simply the natural science of understanding, reading, recording, and following seasons and cycles of the stars and heavens of our universe. Astro simply means heavens or stars. Logi or logi simply means logs or logging. We are astro-logging, making logs, logging all the data of the stars. That's all astrology is, reading and recording of the heavens, stars, cycles, seasons, and ages. It's even written in all the ancient scriptures that in the last days, many will not know the exact time and date, but those with wisdom and discernment of the heavens will be prepared. Keep your eyes to the heavens and look out for the signs of what's to come. So the final question, is all of this intelligently designed, and if so, by whom, or recording and following seasons and cycles of the stars and heavens of our universe? Astro simply means heavens or stars. Logi or logi simply means logs or logging. We are astro-logging, making logs, logging all the data of the stars. That's all astrology is, reading and recording of the heavens, stars, cycles, seasons, and ages. It's even written in all the ancient scriptures that in the last days, many will not know the exact time and date, but those with wisdom and discernment of the heavens will be prepared. Keep your eyes to the heavens and look out for the signs of what's to come. So the final question, is all of this intelligently designed, and if so, by whom, or what, and why? As far as we're concerned, the answer is definitely yes. Everything we've talked about is most definitely intelligently designed. Microcosms of macrocosms, the system and order of our Earth, nature, cosmology, conscious energy, and everything else in our universe is just too beautiful and perfectly symbiotic and synchronized to be a random event or evolutionary.
Nicholas, what's your point on COVID coming, the Carrington event?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Like, if you maybe had any insight on that. I wondered if they were gonna get behind a natural rhythm or like a natural event, like a Carrington event. You know, like a coronal mass ejection. I figured that might be that's why the moniker is what it is. You know, the coronal mass ejection is the Carrington event, and when it happened in 1859, it knocked out all the communications and electricity. And I wonder maybe that's the 5G connection that they want to get behind the momentum of a natural event, and then everybody thinks it's a bio attack or something, and then they rush to get the vaccines, and then they won't even be able to leave like the 5G grid. It'll be like a shock collar.
And what you're saying is, from your own research, your own gut level, the poles are shifting. That's happening. That's proven. And a lot of crazy stuff's going on. And we know the Earth gets hit by asteroids and comets a lot more often than they had said previously. And you're absolutely right. The establishment is acting like they are scared to death and are scurrying around trying to lock us down ahead of something big, and I totally agree with you. What do you think, Owen? What do you think, Savannah?
Well, if you look through human history, there's always cycles. I know that we've covered these cycles here, whether it's just recent recorded history or even ancient recorded history. So there's always cycles, and I mean, we won't go too esoteric or deep into this stuff, but I mean, we know very little, at least we're told very little about ancient civilizations.
We know wars always start during sunspots, and we know depressions start during. I guess Wall Street follows that.
My response to Nicholas would be that absolutely there is a class of elite that has access to history that they don't allow the general public to have, and they are probably trying to plan events around that, whether it's...
why are all the billionaires building armored bunkers with runways in the middle of nowhere? It's not because of COVID, folks.
And they'll make the reasoning as, oh, you can't tell humans all this. They'll go into a panic. It's really just so they can get prepared before the rest of us.
And they want to tell us lockdown. So I guess when some bioweapon gets released, or like you said, some super Carrington event hits and a bunch of people physically get ill from it.
Okay, family. So. Right, exactly. Peace, Birdman. Peace, Emma. Okay, so Phil Jackson, the rap. Do I build on things like Cunanan? I don't really talk about Cunanan. You know why? Or Trump or Barack Obama. I mean, I do every once in a while. You know, depending on what's going on in the climate. You could go back and look at some of my old videos where I was talking about Trump and, you know, different things like that. You know, depending on the climate. But my focus is really on personal development. You know, spiritual development. Because at the end of the day, if I told you Donald Trump was going to drop a bomb on America tomorrow, what would you do? There's nothing you could do about it. You know what I'm saying? So some of these things, QAnon and all that, and the baby eating and the adrenochrome and the deep state and all this shit, right, are things you can do absolutely not a motherfucking thing about, but gossip to your friends about. You know, at the end of the day, it's not really important. It's important, but not really. Because what's better, right? What's better to focus on your own home, right, that you're living in, or to focus on somebody else's house? It's always better to focus on your own home, right? The Bible says the body is thy temple. So I always try to best to focus on my temple so that I'm prepared. I'm proactively prepared for whatever happens, spiritually prepared for whatever happens, that my spiritual force field, my spiritual aura is prepared. My body is prepared. My mind is prepared for these things that may happen. So regardless, if we know every celebrity in the world, if you find out that all these celebrities that think are doing child trafficking gets locked up, let's say they all get locked up tomorrow, Monday morning, then what? Does that stop child trafficking? Does that stop children from being abused by their uncles, by their cousins, by their aunts? So QAnon is not the only people that are abusing children out here. I hope we all know this, right? Like that's what the media wants you to focus on, the celebrities. And it's really a story about celebrities because kids been getting molested for decades. It's been on the news and nobody cared until they found out this Sane Maxwell and whatever homie's name is, headache, but Epstein, whatever Epstein and his island, and now it's a big thing with the QAnon and Trump's going to drain the swamp and all that shit. Look, I don't see. Trump's been in office for 4 years. I don't see no swamp drained. You see one? I don't see no swamp drain. I see the same motherfuckers in the swamp. You all right? I see the same people in the swamp that's been in the swamp, and he's part of the swamp. All right. So I'm not gonna. I don't believe in Trump. I don't believe fuck a QAnon. All right. No disrespect if that's you're into that and you're into that theory, but that's not my focus. Is not that because it's not practical. It's not practical. Again, you're never going to stop all the child molesters and the people that think they're exposing them. They never expose their own family members that have touched that are touching kids. I don't see no one on Instagram exposing their cousins, their aunts, their uncles that have molested them. But they'll talk about they'll transfer the. This is how energy works, right? They'll transfer the energy from their own situations if they have been molested or have been, a victim of pedophilia. They'll take that energy and they'll transfer it to a Jane Maxwell or a celebrity or someone that's on the Epstein flight log and things like that. So my whole thing is focus on being better people. Focus on making sure your children don't talk to strangers. Focus on telling your children, look, if you go between two cars, don't go between a van that doesn't have any windows. If you see a van that doesn't have any windows, be careful. Don't take, don't eat things from strangers that you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Don't just go places randomly. Watch out who you talk to on the internet. Things like that, practical things, so that they don't become a victim of child trafficking or of pedophilia. Those things to me are more important. So me personally, I'd rather raise your vibration than just feed you a billion decodes of conspiracies that don't help you in your day-to-day life. That's just my perspective. But I do talk about these things, but when I do talk about them, they're always irrelevant on how they could help you personally. So I hope that answers your question. So let's go into this triple conjunction Jupiter, and those that have followed me will tell you. They'll y'all could chime in the comments and let them know how we do these things here. But yeah, I do talk about these things, but only if they have a purpose. They're not just for exposure or letting them because there's plenty of people on the internet that are doing that are quick to decode something. But after you know everything that's happening, then what? You're just stressed. Now you're worried. Now you're anxious. Now you have anxiety. They didn't tell you how to take care of the anxiety. They're not telling you how to utilize the energy of that anxiety. They're just giving you more and more anxiety and more stress and more things to worry about. This is not something to worry about. This, what I'm telling you about, is something to prepare for so that you don't have to worry. When these things happen, you have your third eyes already open and you're prepared that when you see these and you see everybody bugging out, you're not bugging out. That's why I'm bringing this to the table. All right. So we see the time frame, December 21st. So this is Astro Bill, those who are late. This website is astrobill.com. This particular article is the 2020 triple conjunction Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. This is still going to be a 2-hour video. I try not to, but it is what it is. All right. So 2020 triple alignment. So we just talked about this, right? This is just confirmation. I'm just showing you this as another form of confirmation. You can read this on yourself. Again, the website, astrobill.com. And now we all know Astro is what did it say? Astro star. Astro means star. And astrology, log, the logos, star log. So astrology is just the log of the stars or the map of the stars. Okay. So this is how we are able to see events before they occur. All right. And not be caught up. Okay. So 2020 triple alignment. It says colossal cosmic event is fast approaching that has the world astrological community abuzz with the possible consequences. 3 planets will join in conjunction, not at the same time, but in rapid succession in 2020. This particular alignment has occurred before, but it's very rare. Saturn will join Pluto first on January 12, 2020. This conjunction takes place every 33 and a half years and is followed by Jupiter joining Pluto in 3 phases: April 4th, June 30th, November 20th, and November 21st, making this as the most unusual 3-planet close alignment. To top it off, Jupiter and Saturn form their historic 19.77 year conjunction December 21st, 2020. If that isn't spectacular enough, all, yep, 33 again, exactly. If that isn't spectacular enough, all 3 join their south nodes, moving from north of the ecliptic to south in their respective orbits. Okay, so a very intensive set-off effect, this is just what we're talking about, will occur mid to late March 2020 when Mars joins Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in conjunction. What is this set-off effect? This set-off effect was Corona. Okay, that's when the NBA shut down. That's when Tom Hanks had Corona, particularly in March 22nd, I believe, is when everything started to shut down. That's when it said it was real. Okay, that's when it was like, yo, it's real. Sire, you just chatted. You just hit the chat. You just typed something in there. But that's when we realized it was real. All right, that's when people was like, oh shit, Corona's real. That's when all the shutdowns and the quarantine started. So this set off effect, he's on point. All right, and he wrote this beforehand, so you could look at the date on top of this. This is December 22nd, 2019. So Astro Bill be on it. So to top it off, Jupiter and Saturn formed their historic 1920. All right. A very intense set-off effect will occur mid to late March 2020 when Mars joins Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in conjunction. The active and violent Mars will stimulate the features represented by the triple conjunction. A conjunction just means things coming together. So if you looked at the full moon, for instance, Mars and the moon were in conjunction. It just means that they were close together. So, and what are we looking at? The active and violent Mars. We're in Mars retrograde. You just saw Mars in the sky. If you look outside tonight, you're going to see Mars above the moon. Okay. So the active and violent Mars will stimulate the features represented by the triple conjunction. That's why I'm dropping this today. Get prepared. Share this video. Tell people about it. All right. Those that are those that are seekers. Don't just tell everybody that, people, there's a lot of people that's going to say you crazy. Tell those that are seekers, though. Let them know what's happening so they could be prepared. Because now's not the time to bullshit. Now's the time to get on your motherfucking A game, people. Okay. That's why we're able to see Mars so clearly. Okay. The universe is setting us up. All right. Yes, sir, I'm Barge. All those things are trapped to get caught in. Exactly. The active and violent Mars will stimulate the features represented by the triple conjunction. Confusion, disinformation, and indecision will follow around April 3rd when Mercury joins Neptune. So didn't that happen? Okay, we saw all the confusion about coronavirus. Is it airborne? Can you can you catch it from somebody next to you? You know what I'm saying? Should you not go outside? Should you stay inside? Some say go outside. Fauci said put the mask on, and Fauci said you don't need mask. And Fauci said put the mask back on again, right? So all these different things have been happening. Another sign of violent, sudden disruptive events occurs near April 7th as Mars squares Uranus. I got to go back to April 7th and see what happened. Upheaval and unsettling news is certainly indicated by this unusual array of planets. Okay, so we see what happened, the coronavirus and what happened. So again, he was on point. Conjunctions represent beginnings. Same thing he said in the video. This represents January 1st, 2021 will be a new beginning. When 2 planets join together, called the synodic cycle, they establish distinct blueprints for humanity to follow until the next synodic conjunction. This means that what the Saturn-Pluto cycle represents in 2020 will unfold in stages for a little over 33 years. New reality. Okay. There are several themes associated with each planet pair. Saturn, Pluto have three major themes: recessions or depressions. Okay, we're going through that now. Wars and unrest in the Middle East, especially involving oil. Okay, maybe it's a little off on that oil thing, but that maybe there is something that we don't know about. We know there is tension in the Middle East right now. Okay, especially and there's tension between China and India, the Middle East, and India as well. So there is tension that is happening right now. The planet pair is also, to this, I would like to add the introduction of major innovations, like the automobile, airplane, and satellite communication. So they're saying the Saturn Pluto conjunctions have been onsets of the automobile, the airplane. So new beginnings, new things. This planet pair also has to do with social revolutions and conflict between totalitarianism and the free world. And you see that all across the world, where people, even during the George Floyd things, for example, where everybody was protesting, right? And there's different protests in Hong Kong, Germany. They just had a protest. Different places are having protests as we speak. So he's not speaking anything that's not real. Just for clarity, let me show y'all some world news, just for clarity, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Because I know a lot of people don't look at world news; they just look at their local news. But let's look at the world, okay? So the Pope saying he's saying that capitalism is a failure, right? I didn't read this, but that's a big deal because the Pope, you know what I'm saying, is probably one of those capitalistic motherfuckers alive, okay? Market capitalism has failed in pandemic, okay? So pro-Armenia protesters shut down Hollywood traffic, all right? So these are things that we don't really hear on a day-to-day basis. Israeli minister says Turkey opposed to regional peace, all right? Infections are soaring in the United Kingdom, all right? 42,400, all right? The death toll. So there's a bigger death toll in Europe than America. They're not talking about this in America. But coronavirus is hitting Europe very hard, all right? And also, coronavirus, whether you know it or not, you could look this up. It has a affinity for Neanderthal DNA. And who has Neanderthal DNA? Not black ass. All right. So you can figure that out. New Caledonia says no independence from France. So these are things that are happening. Okay, where there are people that are not having it. Israel's hospitals are at the brink of collapse and devastated second COVID wave. New York also has talked about a new. Let me see if it's here. But New York has also talked about the COVID. Look, New York, and look, an hour ago, NYC to closes businesses in parts of Brooklyn and Queens as virus takes hold again. And in particular, these virus that's hitting in New York are hitting in the Jewish communities, are hitting in the mostly white communities. So this whole oppression, this whole anti-white thing, honestly, my brothers and sisters, you really don't have to raise a finger, okay? The white world is falling, and those that are down with it are falling as well. Let the coronavirus do its job, okay? You get on your job and stop worried about what the fuck they're doing to everyone else except you, and start worrying about what you could do for yourself. So I'm showing y'all this to show y'all that there's just a whole bunch of shit that's happening outside, and they're prepping you for a second wave, and they're prepping you for another lockdown. That's what's going to happen. So all these cases that they're prepping the world to be put back on lockdown again, so that you don't really have access to this energy from the video that we saw early. Look at this shit. Turkey virus. What the fuck are they talking about? All right, a new virus is in the mix now. Turkey virus. Let's read this shit. Let's read this shit. The World Organization orders Turkey to report all cases of coronavirus in line with guidance. Okay, so they're having an outbreak. All right, so look at this shit. So this is all there. It hasn't hit America yet, but it's coming. Okay, they're gonna say this hasn't hit Canada yet, but they're gonna say this shit as well. Okay, they're gonna say it's gonna start to spread. So be prepared. Get some water. Get some food that you can make. Get a solar charger. All right, all these things are important. Charles, yes, the Beetlejuice actually went out of, I believe, 2 weeks ago. They didn't see it, so the whole thing is they feel like Beetlejuice, from what I understand, is going to explode, and that Beetlejuice, when that particular star explodes, it's going to have great effects on the Earth. I know somewhat, little bit about. I've done some research, but I am not fully knowledgeable in it. But from what I understand, that's supposed to happen. But yes, all planetary bodies, a star, any stars, even this rogue planet that I showed you earlier, that they don't know where it is. That shit could be literally right. That shit could literally be hovering right above my ass right now. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what that rogue planet is, and they don't know. And there's other rogue planets out there that they don't know about either, that they're showing more and more of. So just be prepared because it's coming. Okay, the second lockdown is coming. This is world news. Okay, so if it's happening from the east, it goes from the east to the west. All right, sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So that's how things, and the same thing. That's how coronavirus started. It started in China, and it spread here. So be prepared. Second lockdown is coming. If you're locked down when this shit happens, you're not going to get access to this energy. All right. So you got to also be prepared to have a strategy so you can go outside when this happens. Because I know I want to soak this shit in. I don't know about you, but I want to get all that light in my body. I want to get much superpower as I can if this event actually happens as they say does in that video. So, okay. So, all right, so let's go down here. The Saturn-Pluto, I'm going to start right here. The Saturn-Pluto opposition of 2001 to 2002 correlated with the 9/11 2001 terrorist attack on the Twin Towers, New York City, and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. That resulted in the decades-long war on terrorism. All right. This is long. Hold on. Let me go what I really want to get to in this. And you can read this for yourself. He goes into everything. You'll see the things that he was talking about. So innovation, this is the real thing that I want to get into, okay? And yeah, let's get into, give me 1 second. Okay, let's read this. American politics, all right? Again, one of his astrological predictions. So the polarization of American politics reaches a tipping point. The gridlock started with the radical shift in political power associated with the last Uranus-Pluto square during the Barack Obama presidency. This resulted in a conservative recoil and the election of Donald Trump. Further gridlock will cause Trump, like Obama before him, to bypass Congress and rely on executive orders and questionable legal actions to govern. You saw him do this earlier in the year with the whole bypassing the government to declaring an emergency. This was pre-coronavirus in order to get the funds for the wall. Okay, so you've seen this actually happen in real time. So the crude and divisive politics in Washington will cause more Americans to lose faith in standard democracy, turning again to democratic socialism. Okay, you see that happening. Look at the debates. People are losing faith in American democracy. So a new way of governing may be in the making, or at least extreme departure from the politics of the past. Okay, Pluto is the great revealer. So that's what we're under now. Pluto went direct today. So you're going to see more and more things and more people, more and more of your leaders, more and more of the people that you follow on YouTube and these channels being exposed for who they really are. Some in a good way, some in a bad way. But it's going to continue more and more. So look out this week, look out these coming weeks, because more and more people and more things will get exposed as time goes by. Okay. So it says the long American bull economy will end, and this is true, because the dollar is going to fall. In a lot of your states, you can't even get change because there is so-called a coin shortage. But how's there a fucking coin shortage when copper is still abundant on the earth, silver is still abundant on the earth, nickel is still abundant on the earth? So how's there a coin shortage unless somebody is trying to short the coins and make sure that there's not enough in circulation, so that when the dollar crashes, you will be fucked up. So this is what this is saying, that the bull economy will end, and everyone is predicting that the dollar is crashing. If you're following anybody that knows what they're talking about, Yes, time to link up with the wisest people on the planet, 12 people. We're up, the Sand Bushmen as well. Okay. So a major philosophical shift took place, and we don't need that. So 5G digital technologies will renovate the digital technological world, allowing AI, medical, and personnel devices to rapidly advance. So new technology is coming. Okay. This innovation will spur the development and rapid expansion of computer and robotic machines. So you saw Elon Musk talking about the Neuralink, which the Neuralink is basically your brain being you having an electrode inside of your skull with something inside of your soul with electrodes coming out of it, little strings coming out of it to manipulate your coin shortage. Sorry, there's a coin shortage. Yeah, there's a coin shortage. I traveled earlier this year, and I remember when I traveled, I was at the airport, and they was like, we're not taking any dollars. If you didn't have a credit card or a debit card, you couldn't get anything in the airport. And I was like, wow, this is ill. You know what I'm saying? This is ill. And this was back when I traveled. This was back in May or June. Yeah, I forgot. But anyway, I was at the airport. There's a coin shortage. Okay. Um. So yeah, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. So government and corporate, yes, buy some, yeah, copper mining stocks, silver mining stocks, all good purchases. Investing in gold, investing in stocks, cryptocurrency, things you want to look into. You know what I'm saying? I started investing in stocks this year, and I've already seen, some gains. So, these things, if the dollar crashes, you want to invest in, like Charles Lewis is saying, gold, silver, things that are never going to die, stocks, you know what I'm saying, certain businesses that you think are going to grow, 5T technology businesses, even some of these social media platforms. By 2022, social media is going to change. A lot of these Facebooks and Instagrams, they're not going to be around. Ripple, Charles, I don't know about Ripple. You know what I'm saying? I've heard things about Ripple. I follow this guy, if you want to, know about stocks and, some picks. I follow this guy called What Happened to Common Sense. And he's been on point. You know what I'm saying? I've done some of the investments by just literally watching him. And he's been on point with a lot of things, Ethereum, stuff like that. So, if you have some money to of course, if you're broke, don't invest, you just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? But build up your skill set and stuff like that so you can invest. Yeah, so AI facial recognitions and other technologies will be hotly debated. All right. And additional nuclear energy production will be needed to supplant renewable sources. Government entities, the U.S. Air Force primarily, will admit privately that the world is being visited by alien UFOs. And did they not say this? Okay, did this not happen? Where they admitted that we've been visited by UFOs. Okay, so Astro Bill's been on point. You know what I'm saying? For quite some time. So he's predicted what's going to happen. He also predicted that Joe Biden win the presidency based on the astrology. So something that you might want to look at yourself. Let me just go home here 1 second. Okay, this was actually the article that I wanted to read. I pulled up the wrong article. But you could do this on your own. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of time. It's already 2 hours. I don't want to have to make this a 3-hour thing. You can read this on your own. It must be something you want to read right after this. And this is the national forecast for 2020-21. These are the predictions. Okay, he wrote this in 2016. Something you want to look at, all right? Very, very, very much on point, like if you read through this, he's on point with a lot of things. And it'll give you some time to really look at what's going on. Things with President Trump, a lot of the things he predicted already happened. But you could do these predictions yourself. If you look at astrology and if you just look at the world, something crazy is happening. So now you have this information. Now you have the video and you can make your own decisions on how to move forward. I'm going to answer some questions. So the George Floyd situation, I think that the cops are going to get acquitted like they always do, and I think people are going to be in their feelings, just like they were. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. Chadwick. Yeah, yeah. Buy ramen noodle stocks. Those are good buys. Yeah, yeah. Talk about that. Ramen noodle, top noodles. I'm actually going to invest in those stuff now that those things are going to go up. Good. Thank you for that. Or thank you for that, Charles, because that's a fucking good idea. Spam stock, stuff like that. Yeah, Campbell Soup. I'm gonna invest in those. Thank you for that. I'm gonna invest in those. Actually, when I get off of this, I'm gonna look and see what they're currently trading at. See if I could put something on it. Put something on those. But yeah, so that's because that's gonna be the thing in the future, man. People aren't. There's gonna be a food shortage. There's gonna be a water shortage. The Dow's gonna crash, and people are gonna turn and go fucking nuts. Okay, they're gonna go nuts. You don't want to be in a position where you're not nuts. Straight Panther, the website is Astro AS. Let me put it in the comments. Hold on. So y'all gonna ask me this a million times. Illuminati card game. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, so I can't talk about it. But I do think the situation George Floyd is going to get off. As far as Minnesota, I think in the election year, Minnesota may go conservative. I mean, that's sorry, I gave you the wrong thing. That's another website. But I think Minnesota will become very conservative after this situation in response to the George Floyd thing. So Astro Bill. Okay. See. All right. We're back. Yeah, so let's see. Did I miss any questions from you? Give me 1 second. Yep, so the website's right there, astrobill.com. All right, so you can do your own deep dive on some of these things. But 2021 is very, very interesting. Let me pull this up on YouTube to show you. I'm almost done. Don't leave me yet. If you haven't, please like, please share, please subscribe. I'm going to give y'all something else. Shout out to Rogue Titan for this, because this shit was heavy. Yo, I was watching this with somebody yesterday. We was like, whoa. It was like, whoa. But, you know what? Miraculously, it's not in my history anymore. So maybe that's a sign. So next time I see y'all, I'll talk about that video about the sentient world simulation. That's going to be something to bug your mind out, and we'll get prepared for this new moon coming up and give y'all some tools to prepare yourself mentally, spiritually, and get yourself in order. Let's see what else. Yeah, so that's all I really have for y'all today. Hopefully this didn't scare you. Hopefully this prepared you. Rest in power to the God, Reginald L. Lewis, first black billionaire in America that no one talks about. Yet we talk about Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos like they're gods. But we have one of our gods, Reginald L. Lewis. So take some time, look up an article, read about him, see what he did, how he did it. It may inspire you, especially black men, to not make excuses for why the white man is beating you down and how bad they are and how much they are oppressing you and how white supremacy is so bad and white supremacy. But you can tap into, oh shit, I got the headphones on, it's not even plugged in. So you could tap into your own supremacy, your own power, your own greatness. This is what tapping into ancestral lore is. It's not about, well, now I know all these dates, I know all these histories, and I am battling with the white man. Your greatest enemy is yourself. You know that, right? You're your greatest enemy, not anybody out there, not the government, not the white man, not fucking outer space, not this Carrington event. You're your greatest enemy. So know thyself and work on mastering thyself. And you can overcome anything that these people throw at you because you are God. You have every everything in the universe is inside you. You're made of stardust. You are made of the cosmos. You are made up of carbon. You're made up of hydrogen. You're made up of oxygen. You're made up of phosphorus. You're made up of sulfur. You're made up of all the building blocks. So you look at the stars, you're looking at yourself. When you're looking at the sun, you're looking at yourself. When you're looking at the moon, you're looking at yourself. When you take a step on the ground, you're stepping on yourself. Everything is you. Everything is connected to you. Even the animals. You have magnetite crystals in your brain. Guess what animals have? Magnetite crystals in your brain. You have a magnetic connection to everything in the universe. And the main thing the media and the world is trying to do is take you away from that connection as much as possible and fuck with your frequency and fuck with your vibration by putting all the stressful things in your head and having the masses. And I always talk about this because it's the most recent example I could think of groupthink. That was the stupidest thing in the world. Blackout Tuesday. That's a mass ritual to black your ass out. To black your ass out. That was a mass ritual that was done. Okay, and people didn't really peep it with that whole Blackout Tuesday thing. But that was and that's programming. Even the mass thing. The mass thing is programming for sheep. Okay. Yeah, she probably did show those 3 shooting stars. I was talking about the orcs earlier, if you go back in the video. So she probably did see those 3 series. Yeah, Reese. Yeah, exactly. All right. So yeah, we don't got to talk about that. But yeah. Me and Reese had a great conversation about these orcs and these stars. So what you said is on point about these different things in the sky. Me and Reese Scottis had a conversation about seeing those different she actually saw them outside, and she showed me a video with these different lights literally coming to one light and then these lights coming together, right? And then they falling back apart, right? And other people have told me about seeing these lights come together and mix around and spin around and coming back together, right? So, and science has already confirmed that. If you go back in the video, you see I was talking about orc. And yes, you're right, Charles. Drink them elixirs, man. Monatomic gold, colloidal silver, liquid ormus. I do all these things. Thank you, Vanita. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Oh, let me keep my word. I said I was going to read off the people who donated in the next live. If you donated this one, I'll read off your shit. Okay. So I'll read off your name. I'll say, I won't say your last name though. I'll just use the last initial of your cash app, of your last name, I should say. So thank you, Lawless Light. I do appreciate you. And everybody who has donated, surprise, surprise, when I burn my ancestor money tonight, which I am, your names will be on these bills. So I'm going to write your names on these bills when I burn my ancestor money, which I will do tonight. So blessings. Thank you for the blessings. I will be blessing you in return. That's how this works. Money circulates. Money goes in exchange. Money is called the stock exchange. Money circulates. Money never dies because money is power and money is energy. Ultimately, money is energy. That's all it is. It's a power source. So, Lawless Light, thank you so much. Adrian H, thank you so much. Deshaun, thank you so much. Jeffrey C, thank you so much. Dorothy C, thank you so much. Andrea T, thank you so much. Nahima, I hope I'm spelling that right. Najmahb, thank you so much. Ria, thank you so much. Renita H, thank you so much. And Adrian H, thank you so much. I appreciate the donations very much. Whether it's $1 to $5, it helps me, and most importantly, it helps me take care of my children and have the time to not worry about money, but bring these things to light and do the research that I need to do to present this in the easiest and simplest way possible. My whole goal is to make spirituality as simple and as easy to learn as possible. With that note, motherfucking Lovecraft Country is on. Oh shit, it's 9:09. Peace to y'all. Power and prosperity. I gotta watch this. I'm out.